also take you to different parts of the country as we follow in on live events that are currently happening in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and other parts of the country. That's what we do here every week for you. Even as we edge closer to the 2022 general election, we have also been taking time to look at the political terrain as we build momentum towards that particular journey. And in studio, we have been engaging panelists, politicians from across different political parties to tell us what they have in terms of plans and what is their general agenda for the public as we edge closer to that particular general election. So we are not going to be going away from the script this week also. That is what we are going to be talking about, the road to 2022. But remember, earlier President Uhuru Kenyatta has just led the groundbreaking ceremony of residential places for the officers from the Kenya Defence Forces. And we were bringing that event live for you. We got our team on the ground following up that particular function for us. What you can see on your screen there is the head of state, President Uhuru Kenyatta, still at that particular event, and he's going to be ensuring that this process kickstarts. He's done quite a lot to elevate the livelihoods and the welfare of officers from the Kenya Defence Forces. Remember him being in his capacity as the commander-in-chief of the Defence Forces. He has, played a very pivotal role in transforming that particular sector, and of course just making sure that those who are charged with the mandate of safeguarding our borders and even enhancing security within our borders are actually well taken care of when it comes to matters health, when it comes to matters even that touch on where they live and their general well-being. So we've seen this quite standing out with the head of state, President Uhuru Kenyatta, and this morning he's spearheading the process which is a public-private partnership to improve the residential places for officers of the Kenya Defence Forces. Let's just take you back to that particular function and listen into what is currently going on.
KDF, Your Excellency, we are very pleased to be here and especially to have you come to inaugurate these buildings for these young soldiers. For quite a long time, Your Excellency, we've had the intention to build houses, mainly to get the soldiers living in one area, principally because it is important for them to be in one area for ease of mobilization. And this dream, Your Excellency, has come true. And I must, on behalf of the entire KDF, all the officers and service members, thank Your Excellency for the support and the guidance that you've given us in terms of coming to this point where we are having to construct over 3,000 houses in 5 regions of our country, meaning that a lot of these young families that are coming up will have areas where we can all have them together, and then we can be able to increase our response capacity. We are also grateful, Your Excellency, that as we move into the future phases, we'll be able to increase the numbers. The numbers that we are starting with, 3,000, is a very good start point. But those numbers will multiply as we move on, and hopefully within the next 5 years, we should have enough capacity for all the soldiers. With those remarks, Your Excellency, allow me to invite the CS Defense to give a few remarks and invite Your Excellency to address your officers here and soldiers. CS, please.
Thank you very much, CDF. Your Excellency, the President, my colleagues from the National Treasury, and all of you who are present here. May I take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to welcome you, and we are very, very grateful that you would find time to join us here at Roysambu to do the groundbreaking that will see modern buildings here that will house our officers. This is in line with your Big Four agenda, and particularly, Your Excellency, the housing pillar. I'm very, very pleased that MOD will be contributing towards realization of the Big Four and particularly the housing pillar through this project. And I want to thank Your Excellency and welcome you to address this distinguished gathering of the fastest and the first PPP project in Kenya, Your Excellency. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, Waziri, CDF, Service Commanders, askari wote ambao wako hapa. Hamjambo nyote? Hamjambo tena? Asanteni sana. Mimi nataka kusema ya kwamba siku ya leo ni siku ya furaha. Ni siku ya furaha kwa sababu tumeona mwanzo wa safari ambaye tumeitegemea kwa muda mrefu. Kwa muda mrefu tumejua ya kwamba tuko na shida ama ukosefu wa nyumba kwa maofisa wetu na askari wa jeshi, na tumekuwa tukitafuta mbinu mbalimbali ambazo tunaweza tuzitumie kuhakikisha ya kwamba tumeweza kutosheleza hiyo shortage ya nyumba kwa KDF. Na ndipo tukakuja tukapata hii nafasi ya kukubaliana ya kwamba tunaweza kufanya PPP program ya kwanza katika jeshi na ya kwanza hata kwa wizara nyingi, lakini ile ambaye pia imekamilika kwa muda mfupi kabisa. Hii project ikiisha, tutaweza kuwa na nafasi vile mumeambiwa hapa ya zaidi ya askari 3,000 na familia zao. Lakini vile nimesema, huu ni mwanzo. Na tukiona, na mimi sina shaka ya kwamba huu mradi utatekelezwa kulingana na vile mipango ilivyo, kwa muda mchache sana tutaweza kuongeza huu mradi kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila askari anaishi kwa nyumba ambaye inafaa na anaishi katika kambi ya jeshi kulingana na matakwa ya kisheria vile inatakikana. Na vile CDF amesema, na tutahakikisha ya kwamba tumeisukuma baada ya miaka 5 tuwe with decent accommodation for each and every single serving man and woman and their families, and that is the objective. Na hii ni moja peke yake, kwa sababu vile mjuavyo, juzi tumeanzisha ile hospitali level 4 pale Kahawa. Kuna ingine ambaye hivi karibuni iko tayari kuisha kule Isiolo, ingine ambaye tumefanya groundbreaking upande ya Eldoret, ingine ambaye tutafanya upande ya Nyali, isn't it? Nyali Mombasa, na pia upgrading ya Forces Memorial from level 4 to level 5, and ultimately tumevunja na tume-break ground kwa the first level 6 hospital since wakati tulimaliza both Kenyatta na Moi referral kule Eldoret, ambaye itakuwa purely ya kusaidia askari wetu na familia zao. Kwa hivyo sisi tutaendelea kufanya lolote ambalo tutaweza kuwasaidia kutekeleza jukumu lenu, na pia kuchunga welfare yenu, kuimprove equipment yenu, ndio nyinyi pia muweze kutekeleza hiyo shughuli ya kulinda wananchi na kulinda taifa letu la Kenya, mkijua ya kwamba familia zenu zimeishi na inachungwa kwa njia ambayo inatakikana. Kwa hivyo mimi yangu ni kukupongeza waziri, CDF na wale wote ambao wamehusika kwa kuharakisha huu mradi. Tunataka kuona sasa, na tutakuwa tunatembea kuona vile inaendelea katika sehemu mbalimbali, hivyo Nyanyuki hapa, Nyali, Gilgil, Lanet, na tutaendelea kuhakikisha ya kwamba every single place ambao askari wetu wako, we have enough housing for them so that they can live in comfort and knowing that their families are also safe. Kwa hivyo hongera kwa wote ambao wamehusika, na tutaendelea kutekeleza hii shughuli tukiwa pamoja. Kwa hayo machache na mengi, nasema Mungu awabariki na niseme tukielekea sasa katika Krismasi na New Year, mimi nawatakia nyote kila laheri kwenu nyinyi na kwa familia zenu, na pamoja tuhakikishe ya kwamba haswa kipindi hii ya holiday hii tutakuwa pamoja tukihakikisha ya kwamba Wakenya katika sehemu mbalimbali za taifa letu la Kenya wamelindwa na wako na usalama wa kutosha, ndio tuweze kusonga mbele. Kwa hayo machache na mengi yangu ni kusema Mungu awabariki na aendelee kuwalinda. Asanteni sana.
His Excellency the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces. Hep, hep! Hooray! Hep, hep! Hooray! Hep, hep! Hooray! He plays headless! Achieng!
Commander-in-Chief of the Defence Forces. In that capacity this morning, he was spearheading a program that is going to see over 3,000 officers from the Kenya Defence Forces get decent accommodation in what is being described as the fastest growing public-private partnership program that has just been launched there under the Ministry of Defence. The President there saying that this is just one among the many PPP programs that the government is currently implementing in different ministries as well. And he has talked of plans to escalate this program to accommodate as many officers as possible in what he says is passionate about, to elevate the welfare of those who are in charge of securing our borders and even ensuring that we are safe within the borders. He has talked of even what the government has done in the healthcare sector and what he recently did in groundbreaking ceremonies and even upgrading several hospitals in different parts of the country to give, the officers better health in counties like Isiolo, in Uasin Gishu, in Eldoret Town, in Nyali, in the coastal region, and also upgrading of the Forces Memorial Hospital as part of the plans by the government to just ensure that our officers are better taken care of as they're, given that mandate to safeguard our country. Of course, we'll be giving you more details about this particular program as we proceed with the day's coverage. But we begin our program this morning, News Check. And News Check is a program, like I told you, we usually take time to talk about issues shaping the news. And this particular morning, I'm hosting a panel of two, a gentleman and a lady, who are going to be giving us their insights on some of the issues shaping the politics of the 2022 general election. They say ladies first, and so I'll begin with the lady. Her name is Dr. Juliet Kimemia. Juliet is a politician and also serving as the Organizing Secretary General of KANU Party in Kiambu County. Thank you, Juliet.
Thank you, Serfine.
All right, we have Bernard Masanja. Bernard Masanja is the Sec-Gen of the new kid on the block, the Democratic Action Party of Kenya that, made headlines yesterday and still is trending until now. A lot of talk with regards to how this is going to impact the politics of the Western region, but we'll talk about that. Thank you for creating time for us. Thank you very much for welcoming us. All right, so let's start this. My name is Serfine Achieng, by the way, and our sign language interpreter is Anne Wangeshi. Once again, thank you for creating time for us. And I'd just like to begin this program by giving you both a chance to tell us a little bit about yourselves so that as we go, we get to know who we are having. So I'll start with you once again, Dr. Juliet Kimemia.
Thank you, Serfine, and thank you for having me here. This is very exciting for me, and I want to really appreciate the opportunity. My name is Dr. Juliet Kimemia. I am, like you have ably put it, a politician, and I'm also a state officer because I've been working as a minister in the county government of Kiambu. So I am a public servant. In politics, I started my political journey in 2017 when I ran for the Senate seat in Kiambu County. And I did very well for somebody who was running on a KANU ticket in a Jubilee zone, the President's County. I got 14,000 votes. So that gave me very serious motivation. And now I can loudly put it that I'm running for the governor seat in Kiambu County. I have worked my ground very, very well, both when I was working as a CEC and right now. I'm out assembling my machinery to capture that seat, and I am not compromising.
All right.
Yes.
All the best with that. From eyeing the senatorial position to now eyeing the gubernatorial position, what change of strategy have you implemented? I'll be engaging you on that later, but let me come to Bernard Masanja. Apart from being the Sec-Gen of is it DABK?
DABK, yes.
DABK, yeah,
yes.
We're still getting used to it.
Sure.
What else? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, as you rightly put, my name is Bernard Masanja. Bernard Masanja is a businessman in Kitale and also a farmer in Kitale. So, as you well know, Kitale is a food basket for this country. And at the same time, I am the Secretary General, founder member for DAP, the new kid in town. And we are excited. I'm appreciative that you invited us here. Want to showcase as DAP what are we going to do, what is this that is different we are going to bring on table, and we are sure we are going to do that as we progress on.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, both of you, once again, for creating time for us. And remember, you are part of this conversation. We are not just having it here in studio. So keep engaging us on social media at KBC Channel 1, at Serfine_Achieng. Use the hashtag NewsCheck, and we will be sampling some of your views as we proceed. Now, let's kickstart with the new kid on the block. That's DABK.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a party that was formed by a breakaway section of the Ford Kenya party, or how do you describe it?
I wouldn't want us to take it that way.
Yeah.
It actually, Democratic Action Party is hardly 5 months old. And as you know, to form a party, you have to go through a very vigorous process. One, you have to establish yourself in not minimum of 24 counties. So to say that it's a breakaway faction of New Ford Kenya is misrepresenting the facts. So I want to say we are not breakout. We are just new people in town and attracting newsletters, not only from New Fort Kenya, in all parts of the country.
All right.
That is a position.
I like how modest you are with this.
Yes.
But I'm looking at the names like Kandunyi, Member of Parliament, Wafula Munyinyi, and his Tongaran counterpart, Dr. Eseli Simiu, who, you know, are part of the leaders of this particular party. I mean, these are a team that were really, you know, at the center of the discord within the Ford Kenya party. Does it still not
that
send
is
any
true.
message?
That is very true. But sometimes when you are faced with a certain situation in your life, you're bound to make some certain decisions to move on with life. So to me, I would rather talk specifically on DAP, because that's where at least I have the authority to talk about. And I wouldn't want myself to engage myself as to what has happened new in Fort Kenya, because I've never been there, so I'm not competent enough to discuss that. But I can only discuss.
How are you being so modest? You're still really insisting on being modest with it. But I understand you're not a politician. So let me just, you know, let's talk about this new kid on the block then, because that is where you say that is what you understand.
That's right.
We are almost clocking 90 political parties here. We've seen it. We've seen different political parties coming forth and, you know, talking to us about what is it that they want to offer. Why now, and what is this new thing that your party presents?
As Kenyans, we must appreciate that we made a constitution and gave it to ourselves. And we say Kenya is going to be a multi-party system. It never said that we are only going to have one party or two parties. If we wanted to do that, we would have done so. But as Kenyans, we are conscious, and we had good reasons as to why that Kenya will be an open society and multi-party society. So people should not be bothered at how many parties we're going to have. Just like even Christianity. People are not bothered how many churches are there, how many religions are there, so long as you worship your God in the way you want. So exactly that's what's going to happen. And people should not be worried. And to me, I'm looking forward to can have 150 parties. So to be it. So long as people are having their space, they are discussing their issues, and they can be able to prosecute their matters to a good conclusion.
To a good conclusion. I'm still coming back to you to tell me what is that thing that you're putting on the table for Kenyans. Think about that. But then, you know, Dr. Kimemia, I mean, you're looking at this, and it was just yesterday this news trended, and I've just, you know, probed him on the fact that the numbers of political parties in the country keep rising. First of all, your take about the new kid on the block, and, you know, where we are going in this country with regards to the formations of political parties and political realignments.
Well, I got quite excited because I just first saw it on TV yesterday. I had not even had a rumor. So I gave them
it was a surprise. You know.
I gave them marks for giving us an interesting surprise. Because it comes, I think, 2 weeks after Ford Kenya had their NDC, and it was also looking well attended. But yesterday's looked like Allah, you know. We thought Akina Munyinyi are done with this game. Kumbe, they were also assembling their machinery. So to me, congrats, SG.
Thank you.
And I think it is high time we really embrace multi-party democracy. Although personally, I have a problem with multi-party because I'm a conservative. Like I told you, I am Kanu diehard. And if we go back to history, when the Section 2 was repealed and multi-party was introduced, many parties came in and tried to wrestle our party from power. And for 2 consecutive elections, we made sure that we won. In 2002, when the current president was running on a Kanu ticket, after being endorsed, that's what people keep saying. But I think it was his time to test the waters. When the Kanu party stopped ruling, and multi-party was allowed to probably thrive, what I have seen is immaturity in terms of capacity to really sustain a president. Because NAC brought in Mwai Kibaki, and within 2 years it was dead. I don't know whether it's by default, I don't know whether it's deliberate or what I'm calling immaturity. That it could not even sustain his re-election bid. That's why he had to form PNU for his second term. Fast forward in 2013, PNU had died early, and Uhuru Kenyatta, it was transition. Uhuru Kenyatta formed the National Alliance Party, TNA, which actually was acquired from the late Ginjo Kariuki. 6 months to elections, it delivered the presidency. But immediately in 2014, TNA was so dead that I remember the second governor of Kiambu went for re-election, for a by-election after the death of the Kabete MP on a new party that was called Jubilee Alliance Party, which JAP, which was also killed, so that 2016 Jubilee Party was created that delivered the second presidency. So what do I want to say? I don't think Kenya is ready in terms of mature democracy for multi-party. And that's why I'm saying we need to go back to Kanu.
I didn't see you go there, but you know, that's besides the point. But then, are you saying that you have something against multi-party democracy? You know, because people thought this was something that made our politics progressive. It opened up our politics for different opinions. You know, sort of gave Kenyans a variety to choose from. You know, before you had only one thing to choose from. It's this or nothing. But after multipartism, Kenyans had a variety to choose from and have conversations about. Where do you sit on this subject?
I have a problem with just what the analogy I've given you. That there is no single party after Kanu that has sustained
to the next
a president to get through his second term. So I think we need to, so instead of registering very many parties, and I'm very sorry SG, because I think today is day one of your job.
And you're doing this. I mean, you want him to lose his job.
No. I think SG, we need sincerely to have a conversation about political parties and nurturing democracy, so that generations to come will look at us and see sincerity in terms of letting democracy mature. So I insist that it is high time we revisit, so that we will have celebrations like we saw in South Africa, celebrating the National Party 100 years, or in China celebrating 200 years, or in the US, you know.
I think there's one thing.
As you add on to what she has said, is the problem multipartism, or how we have embraced it or implemented it? Is it us or the
individual? There's no problem in multiparty. There's no problem whatsoever. One has to look at the corresponding benefits that Kenyans have managed to achieve through having many parties. I want to appreciate the position of my fellow panelists. One is said he's a conservative. So he cannot actually appreciate anything new. That is him, that's her. And when you look at it, to me, I'm very excited about multi-party. It has offered a position and a platform for many people, especially young people, to be able to showcase what they see that they can do. When you look at history, especially Kanu, conservative as they were, you find they had close to the society. You could almost predict who is going to be a minister in the next government. You'll almost predict with precision who is going to be a member of parliament in a certain particular body. But multi-party created a forum that I don't need, honestly, to be connected or to know anybody in another party. I can just go get a party and contest. And when you look at the development that has happened after multi-party, politics notwithstanding, is enormous. Kenya has moved on. People are the country's making progress. This is part of the challenges like any other country can face. So to me, I'm excited. It is a way to go. I know when you have been used to a certain way of doing things, when things change, you feel that things are not working well.
But how do you respond to the chronology of political happenings that she has cited? You know, let's not ignore what she brought up. The fact that these political parties that keep emerging, they don't have a shelf life sort of to transition to the next general election. What is it that we are missing?
You know, one, we are evolving as a country. The parties is talking about, they're not even 10, they're not, there are many 100 years, like when you go to US, these parties have stayed for many years. So we are evolving as a country. Yeah? We are trying to get our level in terms of multipartyism. It's hardly, how many years we're talking about? Not many years. So we are evolving. We will reach there. But I can assure you this is the best way to go.
But how will we reach there?
You see, what you should be asking us.
These political parties keep closing shop.
I'm saying, you know, you cannot copy-paste from what is in China and bring in Kenya. And equally when you go to what will you say in a place like Italy? Every other time the government, but the country is moving on. That is who they are. So even in Kenya, we have our unique characters. So we should not try to say that we must be like America, we must like be Britain. No, this is Kenya. We are doing things in a Kenyan way, democracy in a Kenyan way. And I'm sure when you look at now, what should bother us is this particular system, you know, improving our welfare, improving the economy, making the country move on. That's what we should do. But as to how many parties, just like I said, churches, it doesn't, when we have so many, it does not reduce our faith. We are still Christians, we are still Muslims.
I want you to connect this with the question I asked you earlier. Our appetite for forming new political parties. How do you justify it when it comes to the context of what is in the interest of Wanjiku? Why do we keep, you know, forming new political parties? And also, as you climax that response, tell me, what is it that DAP-K has brought in that will wow us? Something
what surprises me, this is not Wanjiku. I don't know who is Wanjiku. I could be the one, Wanjiku. You know what I'm talking about?
Wanjiku
you know, you took us in Wanjiku is just a certain caller.
No.
Who must be, you know, appeased, who must be told this. No, Wanjiku is us. Yeah, we decide what we want to be. Yeah, and we have decided that this is where we want to live. This is what we want to do. You would have asked me, what is it that you're bringing on the table? And what is it that you want to do, what others are not doing?
That's what I've asked you.
You know, to me, that's what you should engage yourself.
That is exactly what I've asked you.
You see, if you see that I'm using this door and one, when you look at, with the due respect with the so-called senior parties, KANU party, so to speak. I took milk.
Go on and on about that.
Yeah, you see, when you talk and listen to what the Kenyans are saying, there's something that they're missing. One is that they're not saying consistency in terms of our policies. They're not saying specific programs that can alleviate. So we are coming in to fill that void. One, people talk of corruption just by mouth. But when it comes on action, nobody is able to say, let me bite the bullet and slay this particular monster. So us, as Democratic Action Party, we want to see whether, if we are given that chance, through our various positions that we have said, we can be able to contribute in a whichever manner to see that this dragon called corruption is slain. Because it's the single most damaging issue. If we just sorted corruption even for 30% only, we don't need to do much. This country will move. It's so rich, it's so endowed with a lot of resources. Yeah.
So corruption is your...
That is our core. We want to see that things are done well, that if in terms of costing, they're costed well. If it's something being done, it's done in a way that it has a value to the country. Yes.
The timing, though, of the launch of this particular party.
Yes.
Many are reading a lot from it. I mean, does it have anything to do with the discord within the Ford Kenya party? I just want you to use this platform to set the record straight, because the translation and how people have interpreted the timing of launching this party, and those who were given the mandate to lead this party, Dr. Esele Simiu and Wafula Wamunyinyi, and even we saw the presence of the CS Eugene Wamalwa there.
Yes.
Does it have anything to do with the Western Kenya, politics?
I wouldn't want to say it doesn't have anything to do with Western Kenya, because most of these people, they come from Western Kenya. But the bottom line, they're Kenyans. Yeah, that's the bottom line. And two, we have said we're just 5 months old. We had to have an entry point.
Why now?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And to be born, you don't choose when to be born. You are just born. And somebody cannot ask, why are you being born today?
No, you're being too modest.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
being too modest.
I'm not being economical with that.
Yeah.
I'm not being economical.
You're not telling us.
No, why now?
This is the catch.
Yeah, this
You know what? Being a new party and you create an interest and attract an interest of sistered leaders like Munyinyi, who is now our party leader, you feel that at least we are good people, and we are going to offer this platform for these people to exercise what they couldn't exercise elsewhere, wherever they were. That's the position. And there's going to be movement, I'm telling you, as we go close to the election. Yes.
Okay. I'll still take you back there.
Thank you.
I promise. But just to give you a break.
Thank you.
Dr. Kimemia, I still want, more justification or otherwise of this appetite for the formation of new political parties, and whether you feel we have taken advantage of this space of democracy we are allowed as Kenyans to have as many political parties as possible. Has it worked to our advantage as a country?
I can say yes and no, because like I've said, in the last 20 years, we have seen, or in the last 4 elections, we have seen the coalitions come and they offer candidates for different for different elective positions and agree on who will be their presidential candidate. We have seen it segment the country into regions and strongholds. Like, for example, in the last 2017 elections, Kenya was divided right in the middle, with I think 25 counties going with Jubilee and 24 going with ODM and ODM affiliated. So it's a double-edged sword. There are benefits, like if you go to Eastern, that's a Wiper zone, and Wiper party dominates the county assemblies, and they're able to advance the agendas of their regions well. So I can say it has benefits. It has benefits at community level, because parties are the ones that really determine even the resource allocation and even membership in the county assemblies and in the National Assembly and in the Senate. So multi-party is healthy for our country. That is one flip side. Then the other side, we are seeing like that sharp division is also the cause of the many problems that we are having now. The corruption he's talking about. When a particular party takes the top seat, then there is the sharing of the so-called national cake, and you see massive corruption happening in the ministries and in the State Department and even in the counties. So it is double-edged, I can say, for free.
Before I come to you, how would you rather, if you were to describe the ideal environment, how would you rather we go about it in terms of our intention or agenda or our purpose for forming these political parties? If we are to form one, what is it that should be like the principles that we follow, ideally speaking?
The rule of law is, I think, one of the most important thing, and every political party should advance really people-centered development, as opposed to party and my people, that type of focus in terms of allocating development is not very healthy for us. So if people can, or political parties and political leaders can pay attention to the rule of law, to the programs that are in the budget plans, in what is stipulated in Vision 2030. If people can can lead their counties, if people can lead the ministries without looking wewe ni wa chama gani, then we can be able to deliver services to the people, because the bottom line, and even why all these parties are being formed, is to connect with the people. So I am foreseeing these coming elections being very interesting, because there will be not one dominant party that will be at the lead. So I'm foreseeing no majority leader, you know. I'm foreseeing the National Assembly, like now, if we look at the formations that are happening right now.
But politics can surprise you.
you know, right now, there is Azimio, and the next opponent is the UDA party that is propagating what we saw in 2017, at one party that has the majority. So I am foreseeing many people being attracted to Azimio, where you will not really shelf your party to join like ODM, but all support one presidential candidate. So I'm foreseeing a National Assembly that will have maybe 10 KANU, 3.
Are you comfortable with 3?
I don't know why she can't
3
give me
members
10.
of parliament from DAK, 3 from ANC, 3 from you know.
As we are talking now, we are not even, but we are already having 2 members of parliament. I can imagine after elections.
So there will be no party that will have a clear majority in the county assembly. So these are interesting things that will emerge, because the opposite of Azimio will not work. That's why I can see DAK, ANC, Ford Kenya, predominantly in Western region. In Mount Kenya, you know, we have a Mount Kenya Forum, where Martha Karwa's NAC is there, Moses Kuria's CCK, DP, you know. We have also very many parties. My former governor, Kabogo, also has his party. So all those parties will have serious representation in the assemblies. So it will be interesting to watch. It will be interesting. This transition is amazing.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have you here after the election.
Oh yes,
as a governor.
As a KANU governor.
To look back and see whether what your prediction actually came to pass. But when I come to you, Masanja, do you think, you know, we are in that space she's describing, you know, politically speaking?
Yes and no. I don't know how it's going to shape, but in the way it looks like it is going to be 2-horse race. And that's how it's shaping up now. And if that being the case, she could be right, that we are going to enter a very interesting scenarios after the 2022 general elections. But to me, I think that's the way to go, that parties should be allowed to prosper, parties should be allowed to have their space. And sometimes they can have interest to converge at a certain idea and move on as a block without really collapsing your individual party. To me, that is quite pretty okay.
All right. As DAP Kenya, you've started with a sort of a clear mind, and your decision on who you're backing for the next for the presidential race in the next general election is clear.
Yes.
You're backing the ODM leader Raila Odinga.
That's right.
First of all, why? Why him?
You know, one, you get friendship with somebody you resonate. You believe you have something in common. And towards where we stand and how we have talked among us as leadership of DAP is we find he represents almost what we thought we could. And as I've said, you know, we are 5 months old. Even if we wanted to offer a candidate for president, considering the time that is remaining, we cannot be able to man or to manage a very vigorous campaign because of logistics and kind of stuff. So we have to sit as a party and say, now, these are the scenarios, because we have to make a decision in one way or another and advise your membership. And we looked through, you know, both history, present, and how an individual person has been able to present himself. And we find Raila represents exactly what we think we can. We might differ with other people looking different way, but this is how we think that Raila represents a scenario whereby he can transform this country and move it wherever we are, we're at the level we are, to another level. And looking at history and also his past experience, that whenever Raila has been involved, it succeeds. You look at the Section 2A, he fought very vigorously. You come to the Constitution and many other things. So to that extent, we thought we can reason it very well with his way of doing things, and we think it can form a good government, a government that's broad-based, and a government that can be able to respond to the various needs of the country.
All right, so let me take you back now to the Western.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, I'll take you there, and we will keep going back there because we want to clear there.
We will clear there.
By the end of this conversation.
Yes.
So the ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi, who's also from the Western region,
that's right,
wants to become the next president.
Yes.
We have Moses Wetangula,
yes,
should I say the party leader of Ford Kenya, or should I wait for the courts to decide on this matter? But he also was given the green light by his party to become the presidential candidate for the party. They all come from the Western Kenya region. In fact, they did not attend the Azimio la Umoja conference on 10th of December, which many said was sending a very strong political message about, their plans for 2022. So here you are as a party, backing Raila Odinga for presidency. I mean, will there ever be a time when the Western Kenya region will speak in one voice or back one specific presidential contender?
That's where people get wrong. You cannot talk of Western Kenya without talking of Kenya. We are not, somebody does not over presidency because he wants to be a president in Western Kenya. That's how we have to look at things. So if Mudavadi is, for example, going for president, he's not going for presidency primarily because of Western Kenya. That's to miss the point. So to me, this issue of being pigeonholed, that now you must think like Western Kenya, anybody coming from Western Kenya or Central Province, you must, I think that we are missing the point as a Kenyans. First of all, if somebody offers himself as presidential candidate, he's not doing so because of the area he comes from. We can have different opinions. We can even be brothers, but we disagree on certain issues. When it comes to political issues, it is not like, how do I call it? You can be, for example, what tribe are you?
I don't want to say that on national TV, especially
I'm saying you cannot convert, like, for example, let me talk to my friend, he comes from Kiambu, he's a Kikuyu. I cannot convert to be a Kikuyu. You know what I'm talking about? I cannot convert, even if I so wish to be. I can only learn to live with her. You know what I'm talking about? So this is the issue of people think that when you come from a certain area, anybody come from your area wanting a presidency, you must support him. That is to miss the point. If this person is serious, let him mount his action, let him tell us what he wants, convince the Western people, as in the way he can convince somebody from Lokchokchogo or Mombasa to win an election.
All right.
Thank you.
You've explained very well.
Yes.
But for you to get and clinch the top seat, it's always a game of numbers, and there are a lot of calculations and mathematics that go, behind the scenes to make that happen. And getting the support from your backyard is very pivotal. If you're having three or two presidential candidates in one region, isn't this going to water down the kind of support that the particular region is going to give one of their own?
Let us not really devalue the issue of presidency, that watering it down. You see, when you stand as a presidential candidate, in fact, we should not bother about where you come from. What should bother you is what are Kenyans going to look at me? You know what I'm talking about?
What of those things? What have you done in your backyard to inform whether we should accept in the national space?
For example, most of these people have been national leaders. Some of them are very senior ministers in the government. To ask them what they've done to Kenya is missing the point. We should ask them what did they do to Kenya, not Western Kenya. Because Western Kenya is part of Kenya. Whatever he did elsewhere, he was doing to Kenya. So if we can do that, you find that fine, Musalia Mudavadi is good, or so-and-so is good, and we move on.
The modest Bernard Masanja. Let me go to the politician. Maybe I will get some answers on this. Do you agree with him that the presidency has nothing to do with what you've done in your political backyard, that whether the people from your home turf support you or not, it is not in any way going to have an impact on your competitive advantage in the national space?
Thank you. I come from a region that has presidents is a cash crop. Yes. That's what we say in Kiambu.
I like it.
Our cash crop,
you
our
can
presidents.
boast about that.
Yes, we can boast about that.
Yes.
But let me comment about the Western region, because to me, I'm academia.
Yes.
So I'm a historian, and I've been looking at the Western region. It's an interesting region, because I think significant number of votes come from the region. And from 2013, Musalia, let's say from 2007, when Musalia became a deputy prime minister, that's when, or slightly before, when he was a vice president for 3 months.
Yes.
There has been a chronology of events around the life and the person of Musalia that have really propelled him to be a presidential candidate. So he was Moi's deputy, even if it was 3 months. That was very good, because he's in history as having been a vice president. Then 2007, in the coalition government, he became the deputy prime minister together with Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the current president. 2013, he ran for presidency. So I think Musalia in himself really believes in himself as being a presidential material, and he offers himself. But unfortunately, Western region and Nyanza, I think, are joined at the hip. You cannot separate those two regions, because even if you look right now at the various economic blocks, the Lake region has 14 counties, the Western region counties, then the Nyanza counties, and also the 4 Kalenjin counties. They all form one economic block. So that area has a history that is difficult to dismantle, as far as their preferences for who their presidential candidate is. So Raila Odinga has been the preferred. Even right now, the counties, I think it's only one county that doesn't have an ODM governor, right?
Yeah.
The rest are all ODM, like the Nyanza counties. So those are the facts that cannot.
So these are things
cannot allow.
One needs to consider also.
Yeah, exactly. So Musalia cannot win over Raila Odinga, despite the fact that he's popular and he has what it takes. And I think I congratulate the DAPK.
Get used.
I mean,
for running with Azimio, because unfortunately my party is with Weta and ANC leader Musalia under the Oka formation, and I'm sure all of you paid attention to what our big Kanu friend called Aturi said that at Kasarani that we need to run away from Oka. So I think we are talking.
Your body language is encouraging.
I mean,
so we are all
you're already telling us what you think you're not telling us. Or am I the only one?
The body language is very encouraging.
She's already telling us what she is thinking she's not telling us.
Yes.
Because Gideon Moi attended, the Azimio La Umoja conference.
Yes.
Is the One Kenya Alliance still one?
Yes.
No, just give us more than that.
She's now being modest.
One Kenya Alliance, we are very serious, because you see, we have done our NDCs, and all our partners have offered to be presidential candidates. So that shows that we are serious as an alliance.
There is an alliance, but is it one? And should we still hope that there is going to be that big announcement of who is going to be the, presidential flag bearer?
I think we leave that to time, because time will tell. Kalonzo called his delegates, and they endorsed him. ANC, I think, has not done. Weta has done. even us, we did. We offered Gideon Moi as our presidential candidate when we met at Bomas. So that formation, just leave it out of Azimio. But we,
now you're becoming a politician. You're answering my question as a politician.
As Kanu, we are friends of Azimio. That's why my chairman was the only partner. We are brothers with the Azimio fraternity. But we are in alliance with the others that have offered presidential materials to the public.
Be careful, we will get out of this constitution, this studio.
I think she's already telling us something. If you're carefully listening and reading between the
leave our One Kenya Alliance alone.
Is it one though? We should call it the One Kenya Alliance.
You know, we are democratic and we are friends with everybody.
Talk about your presidential flag bearer, Senator Gideon Moi. What do you think he has that would actually help him tighten his grip around the presidency if we are to see his name on the ballot?
Going by what is happening in the current space, Gideon Moi is one person every Kenyan should watch. I remember after the BBI, when all the senior party leaders met, the president, Raila Odinga, the Oka fraternity, they met in State House and they did a statement. They issued a public statement. Remember who read it? Gideon Moi is the one who read the statement. The president stood behind him, Raila Odinga stood behind him, and all the other senior political party leaders stood behind. Gideon Moi is the one who read. So that should tell you that we are making serious progress towards State House. It may not be in 2022, but
and there you go again with
Kanu party.
You heard that one. There you go again with another.
And our Gideon Moi is a person to watch.
All right. It may not be in 2022. I got that very clearly. And we will continue with this conversation just shortly. Right now, I want us to take our viewers to something also that is happening. We are tracking different functions for you. The Health CS Mutahi Kagwe is currently speaking at a meeting with the Council of Governors addressing the health policy and legislative barriers. This is happening at the Sarova White Sands Beach Resort and Spa in Mombasa. Let's listen in.
Excellency, the Governor is present. Members of the CECs in charge of health, members of the Assembly is here present, partners in the health fraternity here present. I know the presence of BAC from USAID and other partners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, before I say anything, let me bring to you greetings from His Excellency the President, who I spoke to as I was here, and who indeed wishes us well and for us to have a healthy and productive meeting. I feel very privileged personally to be here to discuss these matters of great importance in terms of reflections on policy and legislative experience for accelerated delivery of the universal health coverage. Dr. Nikal, I think you are very, very correct. It is coverage, not care, for accelerated delivery. And I think that this is a topic that has been long overdue. This meeting is a continuation of the discussions we have been having around the actualization of the President's UC agenda, and we have known that there is need to have fundamental shifts in health service delivery for a long time now. And I'm glad that together we are making notable progress. The 2010 Constitution and the Health Act of 2017 envisions a unified health system with seamless coordination between the national and county government health structures for the regulation of healthcare services and healthcare providers, health products, and health technologies. Additionally, we have various other laws and institutions that govern the health sector. However, our experience with the implementation of the UHC agenda has been that these are not sufficient, and there is a need to address not only what health services are covered, but also how they are funded, managed, and delivered. Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, some of the current laws and regulation were developed before the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution. The Public Health Act, the NHIF Act, the Mental Health Act, Malaria Prevention Act, as well as the HIV/AIDS Prevention and Control Act, among others. You will find, therefore, that some provisions in those laws do not conform to the provisions of the Constitution, especially on the two levels of governance. Whilst we all have to do what we must to make our healthcare system more efficient and responsive to the needs of our people, I'm glad to note that the ministry has initiated efforts to review some of those legislations to align them with the Constitution, Health Act 2017, and Health Policy 2014 and 2030.
LCS Mutahi Kagwe, currently addressing a consultative meeting with the Council of Governors in Mombasa. This is to address, among other issues, the health policy and legislative barriers. And of course, we really apologize. We're getting, some sound hitches there, and we're trying to fix it. As soon as we do, we will be taking you back there. But in the meantime, we have a reporter on the ground following up this function for us. We'll be giving you more details about what is emanating from this meeting as we continue with our day's coverage. In studio, we are having a conversation about the road to the 2022 general election, issues shaping the politics of the day, and I'm hosting a panel of two, a lady and a gentleman. And I'm hosting Dr. Juliet Kimemia. She is a politician and also the organizing secretary of the KANU party in Kiambu County. I'm also having Bernard Masanja, the SecGen of the newly formed party, the Democratic Action Party of Kenya. I'll be engaging them in a bit. I'm told we go back to Mombasa very quickly and then we come back.
And health will still be and healthcare will still be required. Therefore, whatever we do today, we do in posterity to care for today, but also to care for what will come in the future. A couple of laws, other laws, certainly require further review. Let me just take a few minutes to highlight some of these for us to think through them together as we look to improve our healthcare ecosystem. We know that regulation of training, legislation, licensing, and practice of healthcare professionals is done by various government agencies established under Acts of Parliament. The 11 Acts of Parliament establishing those health professional regulatory agencies have left out health professionals, which then impact the quality of their training and practice. Out of these, 5 already have fully constituted boards, while we are in the process of inaugurating boards for the remaining agencies. But let me also mention some of the challenges that create the laws in making the laws themselves. For instance, there are various laws that create certain boards that are virtually impossible to implement and to choose the board members. We have about 33 cases in the Ministry of Health where various agencies have refused persons nominated by the same agencies for appointment to boards, where the Act stipulates clearly that a certain agency, religious organization, or a certain aspect of a certain stakeholder is supposed to appoint a member to the board. Upon presentation by the board, by a member of the board, for example, you get another letter from another person. You get a letter from the CEO claiming that that is not the right person who should have been there. It should have been somebody else. And so we get to stalemate. So in an attempt to be as inclusive as we may
it becomes difficult to prosecute some of those laws that are made. And therefore, in legislation, in the process of legislation, let us not legislate in a manner that then creates problems of the implementation of the same legislation. And I think that this is something that we all need to look at. We also have allied health professional regulatory bodies that have been proposed to cater for health cadres who are not regulated, including, for example, radiographers, biomedical engineers, dental technologists, optometrists, emergency medical technicians, orthopedic technologists, morticians, and medical social workers, among others. These ones are not regulated, and we need the laws to regulate them. However, we must also be careful about having a law for each and every sector, each and every department, each and every profession, because we have so many of them that it now becomes difficult, for us to deal with them. When you have got 40 agencies or so, or 50 agencies, it then becomes difficult. And I think that in making the laws, again, we need to look at what can we put together. When you look at some of the wider bodies, they function better, they are better managed, and they are better financed amongst the members. And I want to note that there also exists an overlap in the functions of legislation of healthcare facilities as provided for in the Medical Practitioners and Dentists Act, the Clinical Officers Act, the Nurses Act, the Medical Laboratory Technicians and Technologies Act, the Pharmacy and Poisons Act, Physiotherapy Act, as well as the Nutritionists and Dietitians Act. For instance, the KMPDC is mandated to license all health institutions, whereas the Council of Clinical Officers and Nursing Council of Kenya license clinics and medical centers owned by clinical officers and nurses respectively. The Kenya Medical Laboratory Technologists and Technicians Board, the Pharmacy and Poisons Board, Kenya Nutritionists, Dietitians Institution, as well as the Physiotherapy Council, also all licensed laboratories, pharmacies, nutrition, and physiotherapy units in private healthcare facilities. These multiple legislation and licenses contribute to a high operational cost in health facilities, which result in a high cost of healthcare. And confusion. Sometimes in the Ministry of Health, and I'm glad that the chair of the Council of Governors Committee on Health, Professor Achieng Nyong'o, is a previous holder of this office. And he'll attest to the fact that sometimes the confusion that is brought by all these regulatory organizations that are supposed to be focusing on one item, it just creates total confusion and essentially apathy within those institutions. There are other aspects also within regulation. For example, we have a situation where nurses are not supposed to carry out a test. A mother is giving birth. The nurse is there, can carry out a HIV test. Yet, the laboratories, you go to court and say, a nurse is not supposed to carry out that test because a test can only be made by a laboratory technician. Now, this doesn't work. And it is what one of the speakers said. By the end of the day, I think it's Nikal who said, by the end of the day, it's about the patient. It's not about us. We must not lose sight of the forest because of the tree. So I think we need a lot of work in these legislative agendas so that we can streamline some of those areas that clearly need to be looked at. There are also other things and other acts that are not directly related to healthcare. For example, the Public Finance Management Act is a principal act on the management of funds under the national government and the counties. The act provides for the establishment of a county revenue fund for each county government, as well as the establishment by each county treasury of a single account through which payments of money by the various county government entities are to be made. Due to the said provisions in the PFM Act, funds allocated or collected at the health facilities are not fully utilized for the improvement of health services or to defray costs or providing services and managing the institutions. The Ministry of Health has made attempts to have these changes made, but were referred to the aforementioned provisions of the county legislation. To date, only 7 counties have passed county legislation aimed at ring-fencing health funds, which is a further delay in the journey towards the UHC. On the procurement and distribution of health commodities, the KEMSA Act, and I'm glad that the committees are looking at the KEMSA Act. This is something that we have been pushing for a long time. States that a national or county public health facility shall, in the procurement and distribution of drugs and medical supplies, obtain all such drugs and medical supplies from the authority. This criminalizes procurement of pharmaceuticals and non-pharmaceuticals by national, referral facilities, and county facilities from suppliers other than KEMSA. If we are to be honest, this plays a part in the shortages of medical supplies, which we see every so often. We can address this issue by allowing a few more players in the scene and in the act, rather than just limiting it to only one player. It is not about KEMSA. It is about proper supplies. It's about availing medicine, at the health facilities. That's what it is about. Again, an institution should not be the block, that spoils the process of acquisition of medical care. Having said that, I think you are all aware of the work that is going on at KEMSA, and I will leave that for the time being. But I also dare say that even as we do so, you cannot on one hand ask them, the ministry, take action, to clean up KEMSA, but at the same time come back and say we can't take action because we are firing somebody. Somebody is going to be fired. If an institution is not working, somebody has got to be fired. And so please, on this one, let the executive do its job. You have got various strategy papers, you have got various reports in both houses of parliament that actually demand that we take action on KEMSA, and that's what we are doing. So read your own reports and you'll accept that what you are doing is the correct thing. And by the way, the process has not stopped. The process is continuing. As usual, there are many court cases that have arisen out of what we are doing, but aluta continua. When it comes to policies, I am also happy to note that some policies that we have worked on have done well, and there is a lot to be done on that area too. The USC agenda has been remedied by the development of various policies and strategies. For example, and I quote a few, the USC policy, the health financing strategy, the human resource for health strategy, the internship policy, the community health policy and strategy, the primary health care framework, the Kenya Health Sector Partnership and Coordination Framework. And still under development is a referral strategy and a review of the Kenya Essential Packages for Health policy. I know that I can speak a great deal on this issue, but I just want to highlight one or two things and then sit down. The full remarks that I have with me are, if you go to health.go.ke, immediately after these remarks, This speech is going to be uploaded at health.go.ke. I just want to close by mentioning one or two things regarding the way forward as far as health is concerned, particularly.
Right, that is the health CS Mutahi Kagwe there speaking in Mombasa at a forum that has brought together the Council of Governors and officials from the Ministry of Health to just touch on quite a number of issues that are pivotal in, elevating the health status in the country, which touch on the health policy and legislative barriers. Staff talking there, CS Mutahi Kagwe, and Junaid Karisa, of course, is following this particular meeting for us. She'll be giving us key highlights of what the stakeholders came up with at the end of it. So we will be giving you more details about that in our subsequent news bulletins. But in studio, we continue with our conversation. And like I told you earlier, I'm having a panel of two, a lady and a gentleman, balanced. And I'm having Dr. Juliet Kimemia. She's a politician, and may I say she's also a gubernatorial aspirant in Kiambu County. She's also the organizing secretary of the KANU party in that particular county. And of course, I'm also having Bernard Masanja, who is the Secretary General of DAP Kenya. Thank you both for staying on. Just before we go back to the political conversation we were having earlier, a quick comment on what the CS has just talked about. Do you think it's about time, Dr. Kimemia, that we remove the legislative and policy barriers that affect, access to healthcare for many Kenyans?
I don't think we should remove, but there's need for review of the practicality of application of the law, so that services really get to the people in a timely manner, in an accountable way, and also without unnecessary delays. I have been a minister in the county government, and that's what I was sharing with my colleague here, on how difficult it is to even work within the framework of the Public Finance Management Act. It has so many barriers that a financial year will come to an end when the system has clogged and you have not been able to spend, and therefore the budget allocated to health, because like in my county, health has the bulk of the budget. At the end of the financial year, you find the auditor report indicating that your spending was only 30%. Yet throughout that financial year, there has been so much suffering due to the blockages in the system. So there is need for review of the barriers that are there within the law that make service delivery complicated, difficult to achieve, and it just destabilizes the development plan. Yeah, the Public Finance Management Act has serious barriers. The policies across the sectors also have serious barriers, and also the Public Procurement Act requires serious review. So I think what is being proposed by the minister, and I'm glad that he's talking to all the Council of Governors, needs to be put, there's need for attention to the barriers that are in the legislative and in the financial framework.
Okay.
Yes.
Also your comment on the same?
Well, it's true. There's the need actually to make it more simpler and more to give room for those ones who are executing freedom to be able to execute their mandate well. And also I think there's only need to see, I think the elephant in the room is a disbursement of cash. For example, for a situation like the county government, I think there's quite a mismatch in terms of dispersing on timely resources to the county. So that one in itself complicates matters for the county governments to be able to move effectively. But that as it may be, also I think when you look at the whole framework of law in Kenya, it is so prohibitive. It's like we were hurt so much, so we put so much details in law that in itself now it has become an impediment, that we cannot be able to move, even if we want to move. Like for example, when COVID hit us, it was an emergency. But when you look at the procurement procedure, you cannot suspend it because of an emergency. It is very time you have to go certain procedures, and in the process you find that it ends up don't give us what you expect. So I think there is a need to
the law is working to our disadvantage.
So there is a need to look at it afresh and see the dynamics that are at play, and see whether we can be able to improve areas that are not, and especially that area of prohibitiveness, to give room for those ones like execute, who have the mandate to do it effectively and assist the situations whereby they need to do so. I think that's my take.
Okay, that was just, by the way, it's important that we also look at some of these issues, and we will be following up quite a number of functions for you as well in between the program. I understand that the Maendeleo ya Wanawake is also having their annual general meeting. Any minute from now, we will be crossing over to that. And the Deputy President William Ruto is also in his tour of the Western region. We'll be giving you a breakdown on where he's going and some of the stations where he's going to be addressing residents on, and quite a number of issues that our news team was also following up for you throughout the day. So keep it KBC Channel 1. But on that political note, the DP is in the Western region, but we're here. So let's go back to politics. And on this, I'd like to bring you now Dr. Juliet Kimemia on board and talk about your backyard in Kiambu County, an interesting place to watch also in the 2022 general election, the Mount Kenya region. Before we get to the bigger Mount Kenya, let's begin from that space you cover. So you vied for a senatorial position, and you're now going to be vying for a gubernatorial position. Many would ask, why go for a gubernatorial position before you clinch the senatorial? And what's the change of strategy that's there that will make this race different for you?
Thank you, Serfine.
Yeah.
I've been asked that question. There's another one you didn't ask. Why not go for the women rep?
No, I'm not interested in that.
Very many people have been coming to my inbox. Go for women rep.
I didn't ask because I'm not interested. I'm interested in why you're going for governor, because that's what you're doing.
Okay, I ran for Senate in 2017 because I believed that I was the most suitable senator of the county, because I understood the role of a senator is to represent, legislate, and ensure that the county gets the allocation that is sufficient to run the programs and give the people the right service. I didn't get the seat, but I thank God, because I got an opportunity to work in the government as a minister. So I was first employed as a CC for health, then I went to CC infrastructure, I worked as CC for trade. So I served in those three dockets. And my experience of being in the executive of the county is what has informed me on the need of being based at the county as opposed to running for Senate, where I'll be based at the national level. Because I realized that the people, the devolution has really worked for this country, and the devolved unit is the most important unit for leadership, for somebody who is progressive like me. So during my time as a minister, and you can verify this, when I was the Minister of Trade, I am one who has done the most cabinet papers, because I realized that Kiambu has a lot of potential. It is the bedroom of the city, and the governor and the deputy governor may not be very, very interested in looking at what the people of Kiambu need.
Why the choice of word may? And are you painting a picture for us to mean that the people of Kiambu County are helpless, in the sense that nobody is taking care of their interest?
Yes, from experience, because I think people run for seats motivated by different interests. What I saw is very vindictive leadership. Investors come to the county, and the first impression they get is you must cough, for personal interests. So I realized that even when you are a CC, you cannot be able to deliver the mandate of that without the very serious intimidation by the governor. Let me be very candid.
All right.
So my heart.
I want you to do this.
Yes.
Hold that thought. We are coming back after the break.
Yes.
So that you tell us what change of strategy you have that will make the political terrain and even the leadership of Kiambu County different if you're given that mandate. Allow us to take a very short commercial break. We are coming back with News Check in just a bit.
You could be seated there, not knowing you're the newest millionaire in town. Want to know how? Visit ufaa.go.ke or dial *361# and find out if there's any unclaimed cash and other financial assets in your name. Labda umeomoka na ujui. Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Try to push you over. You should lose me. You lose my kitchen. Girl, you are a queen to me. Yeah. And I'm so proud that I'm your king. You bring up the sights to me. Kukasirika. Itafikia ule wakati tutakwenda zetu Dubai, sio hapa.
Wamaanisha huu ndio uzito. Waona begi hapa? Wakishaona kama yetu ndio reli. Kesi itakuwa imeisha. Hatuna haja tuende mahakamani tena.
Onelea mimi na wewe tutafute handwriting expert. Ndo ili tujue ni gani original ni gani fake.
Unakuja ofisini hujui kinaendelea nini na unakuja napiga na makelele tu.
Welcome back.
are way ahead of
with us. Remember, you can still interact with us at KBC Channel 1. Use the hashtag NewsCheck, and I will be sampling your views before we finalize the program. And in studio, we have been talking about the road to the 2022 general election. A lot of issues we have discussed, and we continue with my panel this morning. Bernard Masanja, the Secretary General of DAP Kenya. This is the Democratic Action Party of Kenya. This was just launched yesterday, and of course he says it is a party that has been in existence for 5 months, and we are yet to know more about their plans for 2022. But their core mandate, what they want to do for Kenyans, is the fight against corruption as one of the pivotal things that they seek to address. And of course this morning I'm also having Dr. Juliet Kimemia. Juliet is a politician, a gubernatorial aspirant in Kiambu County, and also the organizing secretary of KANU in Kiambu. So before we went to the break, Juliet, you were breaking down for us the the terrain in Kiambu County, cited quite a number of challenges that residents of Kiambu County are facing, including even what you termed as intimidation of the leaders there that hamper their service delivery. Talk to us more about that and how you plan to change the narrative.
Thank you very much. Yeah, what I was saying, Kiambu has been very unlucky these 5 years because when the new government came in, within the first 4 months, the governor and the deputy governor started fighting. They fought daily, they differed on principle, and they could not agree on anything. So that in itself inhibited progress until a year later, when the governor was impeached and the deputy governor took over. He continued with the intimidation and just simply destruction of systems and policies. So that fight caused a lot of things to just stop. At the beginning of, every government has what is called the County Integrated Development Plan. If you look at the County Integrated Development Plan of Kiambu, which was presided over by the current governor, because he was the one who was really in charge of it, ask him how much he has implemented.
In terms of implementation, how do you rate it?
Less than 30%. Why? Because when they started fighting, they divided the cabinet. So there were royals of this one and royals of this one, and nobody can perform their function if you are intimidated and you are coerced. So why I am really convicted that I can be able to take back the county to where we aspired it to be after taking over from the first governor is I know where the rain started beating us. I know the good, the bad, and the ugly of the county. The county has a lot of potential, and what I had done to at least attract investor confidence, I had pushed a cabinet paper that was approved by cabinet to create what I was calling the Kiambu Investment and Development Authority, a semi-autonomous government agency that would attract investors. Like now we have just seen the president launching the accommodation for KDF through private-public partnership. I had gotten, I had led the creation of the county PPP node, that's what it's called. And I had gotten the Ministry of Finance, the National Treasury, to approve. And I even got a 9 billion project to be approved, to be delivered under PPP. It's called the Mogoga Agri-City. Actually, it was a brainchild of the current governor. But because he did not like me, he came, frustrated that project. He moved it from the Ministry of Industry, took it to Agriculture, and it died. Today, the Kiambu people have lost that one project, 9 billion worth, and it had been put in the PPP pipeline of the National Treasury. We had gotten an approval by the World Bank feasibility study and escalating it now to implementation. He came in, first thing he did was to frustrate me.
All right.
And killed that project.
All right.
So that is one of the agenda I want to revive.
There's something I want us to do. I want to take you away from the wars and the discord within, because the other people you're talking about are not here to, of course, defend their position on the matter. So I want to talk about the Dr. Juliet Kimemia herself and her vision for the people of Kiambu, because at least you're here and you can defend that for me, can't you?
I can defend it. Yes.
So what gaps have you seen in terms of the issues that people of Kiambu County are facing that you seek to fill, and how are you going to do this?
Okay, the first agenda is just to restore institutional frameworks, policy frameworks, and restore relationship between the executive and the county assembly. I have seen that has been compromised and it's not working right now. Going forward, my agenda is every sector to be given its own independence. The CEC in charge works well with the directors, works well with the chief officers, and works well with the institutions at community level. As it is now, a lot of that is not happening. So that is my first agenda. So I have been going around creating community multi-stakeholder groups that will be in charge of development at community level. We had put in the working, the formulas for working, the creation of project management committees at community level that will look at the projects that are coming through the trade department, through agriculture, through the infrastructure. And they are not functional at the moment. So my agenda, and I am on record, even as late as last week, I was in Kikuyu and we formed a community dialogue group that will oversee the implementation of projects, the profiling of projects. And I know, because of my experience having been in the executive, if I'm given that opportunity, I will be able to revive, put the programs on track, create the necessary institutions, and have a motivated workforce that is not intimidated. There is the issue also of the enforcement department. Right now, there is so much pilferage. There is so much loss of the monies that are collected from parking, that are collected from planning, because of what my friend here was talking about, corruption. So that is the biggest challenge in Kiambu County, and I know working with the systems and ensuring that all those officers that have been put there, because there are very many cartels. All those officers, we have to put them on notice. We'll just make the systems work by putting order and having people accountable for the actions they take.
All right.
ESCC, DCI, we will not have any compromise.
All right. And you know, this looks like a beautiful promise for people of Kiambu. How sure are we that this is not just a slogan crafted to, you know, because we usually hear these very beautiful promises on the campaign trail, but then after election, it's totally different. What we see is the county trending for the wrong reasons, the discord, the executive and the county assembly, constant, you know, wars throughout the term of the governor. I mean, how sure are we that this is going to be different?
It's going to be different because character-wise, I know I am a person of very, very high integrity. Before I joined politics, the Catholic women in the whole county, not whole county, but Archdiocese of Nairobi, had selected me as the chair of their finance committee. So I have been tried and tested in terms of spending public money and delivering on projects. Personally, I know that I will not condone corruption in the county. And anybody, ask EACC whether they have ever questioned me, and I have been in the county. It is because I am one person of very, very high integrity, high moral standing, responsible, and I am telling the people of Kiambu, I'm telling the people of Kenya, let us give women of high integrity an opportunity to run our government. And in 2027, let us be put on the pedestal. Let me be put on one pedestal with the governors that have been there in the county of Kiambu.
You're ready to take up that challenge?
Yes, I am ready to be put that, and I promise that I am going to be a very, very transformative leader, corruption-free. I can promise. If I will say like P.S. Hinga, if you find me corrupt, put me in Uhuru Park and shoot me dead.
Today is the 15th of December.
Yes.
2021, you say that.
Yes.
We hope to hold you accountable.
Women are better in terms of integrity, accountability, responsibility. A woman will not come and loot and put money in the daughter's account. We cannot.
Careful with where you're going. Do you agree that integrity and you know, transparency is a gender issue? Defend your gender.
Not
is it
really.
about?
Because we equally have women who are also in court because of corruption. So it is a matter of personal, and it has nothing to do with the individual. A thief is a thief, whether he's a lady or what,
or a man.
And all of them have been convicted on. I mean, and as we are talking, there's so many active cases in front of the court involving ladies. So could be he's the only one who could represent that. But I wish her good luck. She looks like she's a tough lady. Wish you good luck in Kiambu.
It's a tough political terrain as well. It's not an easy.
How I wish
Kiambu is not an easy.
Don't go there as a woman, go there as a candidate. Say you are, because you're going to talk to women and talk to men as well. And persuade them that you have what it takes to be a good candidate.
She should pay you for consultancy on that. As I come back to your strategy on how you're going to go about this, just very quickly, Bernard, what do you tell viewers, voters, let me call them that, in this season, when we are vetting and choosing and making decisions about who we are going to be voting in 2022 general election, as we hear these promises, campaign promises, what should we consider? What are some of the principles that we should consider to help us decide on who is the best candidate for whichever political seat?
I think one very important thing is to appreciate that all these people who are going to contest come from our villages, come from our communities, our neighborhood. So we know them very well. So what we need to do as Kenyans, one thing is that we need to be serious with our country and put men and women of substance to be in charge of affairs of this country. That's very important. And we know them. But let us not pretend that somebody who has a history of dipping his hand in the wrong place can easily transform himself to be a saint. And if you want to hire somebody, those are the issues you look at. And we are capable of doing that. I'm urging my fellow Kenyans to take a step back and ask he or himself, where do we want this country to go? And we can only take this country where we want it to go by putting in place men and women of substance, men and women of integrity, men and women who have the passion to run the affairs of this country, not because of themselves, not because of their tribe they come from or the community they come from, but they want, because if Kenya succeeded, your tribe will succeed, your community will succeed, your child will succeed, your woman or your wife will succeed, and everything will go away. So that's why I'm urging my fellow Kenyans, take time, don't be taken around by the euphoria of whatever slogans. But these people, we know them, they have presented themselves. It is not that they're coming from the moon. We know them. We know who, in whose hands we can be able to trust
you had to
this
go
country.
There. In whose hands are we safe?
And before I finish that, as a party, we are very passionate even about devolution. It is one aspect that has really this part of the challenges, and I want to appreciate our former CEC and I think she can also talk. There's part of those challenges. This is one thing that if it's properly nurtured, this country can develop evenly without really bothering where do you come from. Because I have been to places like far-flung areas like Turkana. I can tell you where devolution done wonders. I have been to areas like Wajir. Devolution have done. So all what we need is let us nurture this baby. And in so doing also, we must ask ourselves, whom do we put this baby, whose hands should we be able to commit this baby to grow and be able to mature? So we are appealing to Kenyans, let us build on what we have, and by doing so, be able to elect in a manner that it's a well thought out, in a manner that we know at the end of the day, we have one person and one woman who is capable of taking care of all this.
Okay. Yes. Let me catch you there before you go ahead and tell us who that person is. But then, Dr. Juliet Kimemia, when we're looking at the issue of leadership and we're discussing the gender agenda when it comes to, leadership, there are people who are of the feeling that we have failed the women of this country. Others feel it's the women that have failed us as a country. Where do you stand on this matter?
As far as women leadership and access is concerned, I can say that we've been very progressive if elections is anything to go by. Because in 2013, you know very well, there was not a single woman governor, there was not a single woman senator. In 2017, we got 3 women governors, we got 3 senators. So that alone is an indicator that the space that previously was dominated by men is slowly becoming accessible for women. And that's why some of us are going for the governor's seat, because we saw in 2017 it can happen. And the 3 women who became governors are extremely progressive. You go to Kitui, you see major transformation that has happened. You go to Kirinyaga, major transformation. You go to Bomet, sorry, we lost Laboso, major transformation. Look at our city. We have Anne Kananu. She has been acting governor, but because of just her demeanor, her spirit, her collaboration, her teamwork with General Bandi, Nairobi is totally different. We cannot ignore the fact that her agenda, her demeanor has greatly contributed to the peace and the stability that we are seeing in the city. So far, so good for us women. And I know we are about 20 women who are running for governor. In 2017, only 6 made it to the ballot. And I know the 20 of us, 10 of us will win, and I'll be one of them. So far so good. The society has really come to embrace the leadership of women, and I owe it all to the affirmative action. This seat called Women Rep, however mean people may describe it, is the biggest contributor to the pool of women in politics that we have today. So 47 plus 47, that's about what, 94. 94. We can say in these 10 years we've had 94 women in parliament, as members of parliament, 2 from every county. Either one has come back or one lost the other time. So that alone has contributed to the pool of women in politics. If you go to the county assemblies, we've had quite a number nominated who have been, and those who have been elected. That is another big pool. And right now, the ground has totally shifted. Everywhere you go, every ward you go to, it is 50-50. Like now my ward, I come from Sukari, where I have about 7 women who want to become the MCA, and there are 7 men who want to become. So 2022 will be a game changer. we are going to achieve the not more than 2/3 rule. Yes,
Okay.
I can guarantee that.
We look forward to that
Yes,
time, though.
yes.
But Bernard, as we edge, towards that direction, what should be done for us to dilute this narrative of just because I'm a woman? How should we begin to look at our politics differently if we are to talk to the women who are even planning to vie, in the 2022 general election? This tag of just because I'm a woman, how do we get rid of it?
One, I want to say personally, I have daughters, and I want to appreciate, especially Madam here, to come out, because he's going to inspire others to say that this thing is doable. I also want to encourage our women friends that, first of all, there are problems with themselves. For example, when you go to the National Assembly, there's quite a huge constituency now for ladies in Parliament, but you don't see the corresponding, having risen from the little number of 3, 4, 5, now they're 8, 4, you don't see really a corresponding performance of women. So it is up to them to up the game, up to them to create and mark their space. For us men, we have no problem. We support them. The only people who don't support them, the women themselves, they don't support each other. In fact, when you see a woman coming down, most likely it is not a man pulling that woman down. It is they themselves. But that is
That's debatable.
It's changing. And I want to personally, I believe in women leadership. Wherever a woman has been in charge, areas I've seen, they have been very, very effective. They do it like any other person. And I want a situation whereby everybody, including our women, are given equal opportunities to be able to showcase what they have and assist this country to move. And I will be very excited person to see that actually we achieve that 50-50, or even at a most to have a 60-40. I think this country will be okay.
All right. I hope you're not planning to be elected just because you're a woman.
Yes.
No. I am a leader in my own right. Yes. And so are the other women who are running. They're not running because they are women.
Yes.
They're running because they are leaders.
All right.
We will shake and shape 2022.
All right.
I can guarantee you.
So as we wait to see that, KANU in Kiambu County, what's your strategy?
As a party, let me say this time round, KANU is doing extremely well. First, from 2018, when we took over the majority seat, KANU and Jubilee signed a coalition agreement, and within no time, our brother Murkomen was out, and in came KANU, Honorable Pogisho. That is when our star started flourishing, and we have done well as a coalition government with Jubilee, and right now I can say it is a very popular party, because somehow Jubilee has eaten itself because of the splinter group. So as a party we are doing very well. We have attracted quite a number of aspirants. Last week I had a meeting with those who are aspiring to run on a KANU ticket, and I had over 100 drawn from the different wards of the county. So as a party we are doing very, very well, and I am sure going forward by February we will be leading in terms of the party that has the highest number of candidates. So I can say we are doing well. And we are also doing very well in Western region. DAPK will have a problem.
I don't know. I haven't seen the message. I'm yet to see them.
We are going to give them a run for their money. Wait until they hit the ground, because we are in Azimio together.
Okay. Talking about now, giving them a run for their money, let's go back to where we started, as we just have a few minutes to wind up this program. And this I direct to you, Bernard. Do you think the One Kenya Alliance could just be the third horse or the spoiler for either Ruto or Raila?
I think you're placing it where they are supposed to be a third horse race, or whatever significance it will be, I don't know. It's that democratic. But what we are saying, especially now my brothers, elder brothers in Western, that is Musalia and Weta, time is running out. A good leader is one who makes a decision. Time is running out. We appeal to them to see sense of moving together so that jointly we form the next government and we move on. And I think also what I wanted to add on is that democratic action, because I have to talk about it. One is only 5 months, and we moved very fast to confirm ourselves through a national leaders conference, which in itself, even as we are talking, there are very few parties, including Jubilee, it hasn't had that for a very long time. So, you know, a good party is a party that starts with its people. And we are hoping that we are going to fill that void, including what the KANU has left even in Western. I don't think you're going to have any presence there, especially with the DAP in the house. So be prepared. and also, I just want to take this up because I think we're running out of time.
You can confidently say that.
I just want to congratulate our party leader, who was actually is Disconnect. I have to add that name because it's because of the negotiations, and also the Secretary General Disconnect, and also the general membership that turned out yesterday. They did us proud. And I did the showcase what we can be able to for Kenyans, and I think we're moving together. And we are going. Watch this space. This is a party that the one you are talking about will be a very big party without really coaxing other people, but it just attracts naturally the membership and people to believe in what we do. Yes.
Your body language was really telling. I don't know whether you have something to add on what he has said.
I can only sympathize with BAK.
I want to give you a chance to let it out.
Let me tell you.
Before I move to something else.
is the party you will meet kwa ground. You know, you just came from Bombers yesterday. You are suffering from the hangover. KANU, we have been working. Let me tell you, my sister.
Yes.
In every county. We have been working, and you know that.
I hope these are
friendly. You know that.
I hope these are friendly fights.
KANU has overtaken the ANC and for the Kenya. So just don't assume that the ground is good for you in Western Kenya, because we are not joking. We have been working quietly and slowly but surely. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park for any new party that is coming in, because KANU iko kwa ground. Iko kwa ground. And we are doing very well. Yeah. Right. In One Kenya Alliance, we are the prefect. So we are the prefect of ANC and for the Kenya. So we will still have a lot of influence on where they will be fielding candidates. So
and you both talked about your political parties, and also we've seen coalitions and plans to form coalitions. I know between now and the next few months to the general election, a lot is going to be happening. There's so many. You thought you were surprised when the party DAPK was launched yesterday. You're just about to be surprised even further in the next few months. A lot is going to happen. I mean, when we see such political formations, which earlier even Dr. Kimemia said, some of these parties don't have a shelf life to live to the next general election. In whose interest are they formed, and should we then brand them just political vehicles to get positions?
Well, you're right. The political vehicles to get positions.
After that?
And after that, we have got the position. Now, you can see what do you use the position with. So, to me, I'm not so worried about the mortality rate of parties, because it's normal. Things have. I mean, there are things which have, even shops closed. It doesn't matter. Even we had Nakumat, very big institution, closed. So we should demand about mortality rate. What matters around? What is not allowed?
Prematurely,
what matters around?
Don't they send a bigger message?
You know what I'm saying? What matters? What is Kenya losing? If the Kenya is not losing, the issue of parties collapsing, doesn't bother. You see, so long as Kenya is moving, so long as they're participating in making that Kenya is moving forward, that's more crucial. But as to how he's falling on the wayside, that's immaterial. Yeah, so, the strong ones, let them survive.
So 30 years from now, at least KANU, we have seen KANU for quite a while. 30 years from now, will we still hear and see DAPK?
The KANU she's talking about.
KANU Fresh.
The head of state today had to run away from KANU for him to be a president. You know what I'm talking about? A whole chairman.
He didn't run
abandoned.
Why do I have a feeling you guys just want to start another show when I want to wind up? So let me do this. Let me give you a chance to give us your final words. Maybe in the near future we'll pick up from where we are putting a comma. Seems like there's a lot. Daktari.
Finally, we have to allow democracy to mature. So my clarion call to politicians and political parties, that we respect the Independence Party, and I'm inviting every Kenyan from all walks of life to run on a KANU ticket. You'll be guaranteed free and fair nominations. And to the great people of Kiambu, I'm offering to be your next governor. I am offering servant leadership. I am offering people-centered leadership and God-fearing. That is my call. And I know that God has appointed me to salvage Kiambu from what we have gone through the last 5 years.
Okay. In your words, Bernard Masanja.
Mine is that as we approach or as we go towards the general elections, let's maintain our country, let's keep peace, despite of the fact that we're going to have a very high voltage of political happenings. We appeal to our people to be calm, even if we are provoked sometimes, and allow everybody to campaign freely, sell his ideas, and at the end of the day, we shall have a president. He will just be one person, and whoever will win, he will be a president. So let us be mature, let us accommodate each other, let us not belittle anybody. Everybody has a right to put whatever he has on the table and be considered by Kenyans. So I want to appreciate and especially appeal to young people to register and take charge of their country. Let them just not be the people in the streets. They can only participate in the election when they take the voters and also participate in voting in he or whoever they want. Otherwise, to my people of DAP, I'm excited. You made us proud. We had a very successful National Congress yesterday, and we are hoping that we are going to build up on that momentum to be able to create and mark our space in the political boardroom.
You still maintain it has nothing to do with Ford Kenya, Moses Wetangula, and Western Kenya politics?
You see,
the formation of this
party. The only thing that we have something to do is that we're all doing politics.
All right. It was just to set the record straight. Thank you so much for creating time, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. Dr. Juliet Kimemia, politician from Kiambu County, vying for the gubernatorial post, and also Bernard Masanja, the Sec-Gen of the Democratic Action Party of Kenya. Thank you once again for creating time. We're going to be paving way for the Swahili version of the program. Kurunzi Mashinani and Tamrini coming up shortly. Don't go too far.
Paid to have it checked out 3 times. And I remember the last time you told me that all possible risk had been eliminated.
Did you follow that? Or did I just make things worse?
I'm willing to answer your question. As long as we can have our own house. And you and Mai have good lives.
What is it that he wants? Is he blackmailing us? He said...
有一段故事建筑一座城堡 Inaonyesha kuwa utakuwa na hatari kubwa sana.
Hatari gani?
I'm tired. Akili, nimechoka.
Sasa uko hata kulipa mshahara bila kufanya kazi.
Mara uko sawa, mara unabadilisha mawazo. Mimi nitakuelewa vipi?
This is too much.
Uniform yako hiyo.